Hey, what's up y'all? My name is Paul Che and today I'm going to be showing off my updated manga collection before 2018 begins. Before I begin, I am sincerely sorry that I have not been putting up manga videos since September, and I will start doing the monthly updates and the monthly hauls like I used to. So for those who subscribe to me because of the manga videos, I let y'all down. I'm sorry, but I will start doing that again. So let's not waste any time and let's get started right away. First up we have is 7th Garden, volumes 1 through 8 up to date. The artwork is amazing, but the story is not. So I don't know where it's going to go from here. Next up we have 20th Century Boys volumes 1 to 22, the complete series. And as well as its epilogue, 21st Century Boys volumes 1 and 2. This is one of my favorite Naoki Urasawa's manga series, and I'm surprised that there isn't an anime adaptation of this yet. Volume 1 of After the Rain, which I believe this is a omnibus. Really good start, really good stuff from what I've read so far. Ayori Aoshi volumes 1 through 17, the complete series. This is one of the very first few manga series that I collected back when I was a teenager, and I'm glad I still have this old series because this is very out of print. Up next we have Air Gear volumes 1 all the way down to 37. Complete series. I collected this series way back in 2008 when it was published by Del Rey Manga, but then Kodansha absorbed it, and then from there I thought it wasn't going to be finished, but then Kodansha decided to continue to publish this series, and this final volume came out not too long ago, so it took me 10 years to complete this entire series, and that's pretty crazy. 10 years to complete a series. That's almost half of my life. So I'm pretty proud that I finished this series and that I've continued to stick around with this. Ajin volumes 1 through 12, a very solid seinen series. There hasn't been a volume update in a while, so I'm not sure when the 13th volume is going to come out. The Ancient Magus Bride volumes 1 through 9 up to date. This is an amazing magic series, and the anime adaptation was great, so I highly suggest you to check it out and check out this manga series. Arpeggio of the Blue Steel volumes 1 through 13 up to date. I've heard rumors that this series is starting to wrap up, but I'm not so sure about that. Fun little series to read. Apopsin volume 1. This is a brand new series written by Tsutomu Nihei, who is the creator of Knights of Sidonia and Blame. Ayako, this is a short story written by the legendary mangaka Osamu Tezuka. I'm not sure if this is out of print, but I wouldn't be surprised it is, because this is published by Vertical and it is a Osamu Tezuka manga. Better hop on it if you haven't checked this out. Battle Angel volumes 1 through 5 in these high quality hardcover editions. This is a complete series, and I'm really not a big fan of these red spines that Kodansha decided to use and print it on, but regardless, I'm still glad to have this. Battle Royale, the Ultimate Edition, volumes 1 through 5, complete series. This is a horribly out of print series, and I'm proud to own this. One of the rarest things that I have in my possession. And it's a very good series. Very gory, bloody, extremely graphic. And I first checked this out when I was a young kid, and boy, I was pretty shocked when I first saw this. Black God, volumes 1 through 19, complete series. A very underrated martial arts series. Illustrated and written by 2 Korean individuals. Highly recommend you guys to check it out. Volumes 1 through 10 of Black Lagoon up to date. Rei Hiyore is back, or he is off on hiatus, and he's continuing to write chapters again. I'm not sure when the 11th volume is coming out. Black Torch volumes 1 to 2. This is a brand new series put out by Viz Media, a new Shonen Jump series, which I may do a first impression video of later. Blade of the Immortal Omnibus series volumes 1 through 7 up to date. I think the original volumes, or the original Blade of the Immortal, ran for 30 volumes, so if I'm not mistaken, I think the 10th omnibus will be the final one. Boarding School Juliet volumes 1 through 3, a new series put out by Kodansha. This is actually a pretty funny series. It's a comedic twist on the Romeo and Juliet tragedy. Bokurano volumes 1 through 11, complete, a very dark mecha series that gets compared to Evangelion a lot. Volumes 1 through 22 up to date, Batum, and apparently there's 2 separate endings to this. It's one of those choose your ending type of deal. I think the 25th volume is the last one, so one of you guys mentioned this, so that's pretty interesting to know. Children of the Whales volumes 1 through 7 up to date. This is a good series that is being put out by Viz Media. I'm not sure when the 8th volume, I think the 8th volume is coming out pretty soon. Dead Demons Destruction volumes 1 through 3. This is a brand new series being put out by Inio Asano. Pretty interesting stuff, like what I've read so far. Demon Slayer volumes 1 through 3. This was something that I was initially concerned about because I thought this was going to be one of those emotional rom-coms, but turned out to be completely different, and it's actually pretty good. Artwork is pretty amateurish. However, I heard that the artwork does drastically improve later on. And UFO Table, the ones who did Fate Stay Night, Fate Zero, and Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel, is animating the series. So I'm pretty excited for this in spring 2019. Dorohedoro volumes 1 through 22. I think the 23rd volume is the final volume, and there is an anime adaptation being produced right now. I'm pretty curious to figure out who the animation studio is. Probably going to be MAPPA, Madhouse, Production IG, one of those. Dr. Stone volumes 1 to 2, a really great new shonen series that's being put out by Viz Media, illustrated by Boichi, who is an amazing illustrator, and it is written by the creator of Ice Shield 21, I believe. There's an anime adaptation that's coming out as well too, so I'm looking forward to that. Fate Zero volumes 1 through 7, the manga version, which is up to date. Fun little thing to have if you're a huge fan of Fate Zero, and Fate Zero is one of my favorite anime series of all time. Flowers of Evil volumes 1 through 11 complete, one of the craziest things I've ever read. Food Wars volumes 1 through 27 up to date. I did spoil myself a little bit and went ahead and read the future chapters, and I will say this, I am not a fan of the direction that this series is going. But regardless, I still like to have this series. Gantz volumes 1 all the way down to 37 complete series. These single volumes are extremely out of print, but fear not people, if you want Gantz, I think Dark Horse is currently putting out these high quality 3-in-1 omnibus, so you might want to hop on that. The God's Lie, a one-shot, a very good one-shot that I highly recommend you guys to check out. Really wish that there would be an anime movie about this. Golden Kamui volumes 1 through 7 up to date. Really good seinen series being put out by Viz, and the anime adaptation is actually pretty decent. Not as bad as I thought it turned out to be. Volumes 1 through 7, the complete series of Goodnight Poon Poon. This is my favorite Inio Asano manga of all time. Highly recommend you guys check it out. It makes you think a lot. Kind of a mind-blowing experience. Grand Blue Dreaming volumes 1 to 3 are very hilarious new series being put out by Kodansha. I know some people are not a big fan of the wacky comedy in this, but I love that kind of stuff. GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka volumes 1 through 25, the complete series. This is one of the this is the very first manga series that I collected when I started collecting manga as a teenager, and I'm proud to own this series. I'm proud to have kept this all this time. It is very out of print, but if you guys can find somebody who's selling this entire series for a good deal, I suggest you to buy it, because this is the best comedy manga series of all time. Gunsmith Cats volumes 1 through 4, and its sequel Gunsmith Cats volume 1 through 5, which is the Burst, I believe. And the sequel is not that great, unfortunately, but this is a great old school 90s manga to have. Very out of print. Actually, in fact, it's horribly out of print. I think each of these volumes are running around $500. So good luck finding this if you guys are trying to get it. Hellsing volumes 1 through 10, another old school manga that I got back in the days, and this is another out of print series. Proud to own this series. H.P. Lovecraft, The Hound. This is a manga adaptation illustrated by Go Tanabe, and I think there is another H.P. Lovecraft short story manga series that Go Tanabe is writing about. If you're a huge fan of Lovecraftian horror, I highly recommend you guys to check this out. I Am a Hero volumes 1 through 8 in this omnibus series. I'm not sure what the final volume is, but I think it's getting close. But this is the best zombie manga or zombie apocalypse manga that I've ever read. Ikigami volumes 1 through 10, the complete series. This is a very underrated seinen series. Immortal Hound volumes 1 through 6, another underrated seinen series, which The 7th volumes, I don't know when the 7th volume is going to come out, because the 6th volume came out way back earlier this year. Inuyashiki volumes 1 through 10, the complete series. Great series written by the creator of Gantz. I have not seen the anime adaptation, but unfortunately it is held hostage by Amazon. Yormungand volumes 1 through 10, excuse me, volumes 1 through 11, the complete series. Another great seinen series, but for some reason volume 6 is horribly out of print, and I don't think, last time I checked, I don't think it's available at all. So good luck trying to find volume 6 if you guys are trying to complete this. Kaguya-sama Love is War, volumes 1 through 6, or excuse me, yeah, volumes 1 through 5. As you can see here, I am starting to run out of shelf space, and that is becoming a problem. This is actually a very good series, which surprised me a lot, and there's an anime adaptation coming up, so look forward to that. Kakegurui volumes 1 through 7. This is a pretty okay gambling series, which features a lot of crazy facial expressions. Land Illustrious volumes 1 through 7. Another great series that's being put out by Kodansha, and I've said this multiple times, I was going to do a recommendation video of it. Just hang tight, you guys. Lone Wolf and Cub, complete series, volumes 1 through 28. An extremely out of print series that I'm proud to own, and this is a really great classic to have. Very small manga. This is an old school Dark Horse manga, put out back way back. Lord Marksman and Vanadis, volumes 1 through 8. This is a guilty pleasure of mine that I do enjoy. Love Hina, volumes 1 through 14. This is one of the very first few series I collected back in the days as well, in the old school Tokyo Pop. This is out of print, but Kodansha reprinted them in these ugly fat omnibuses, so if you guys are trying to get that, I mean, that's an option for you. Made in Abyss, volumes 1 through 3. I am very well aware of how great the anime is. The manga is great. I think there is a sequel coming up, but who knows. Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka, volumes 1 through 4. This is a pretty good, interesting take on a dark magical series. I did make a recommendation video, so check out the link in the description below. Volumes 1 through 12 of Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin. This is a high quality hardcover that Vertical has put out. I think this is out of print because Vertical hardcovers do not stay in print for a long time. Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt volumes 1 through 9 up to date, and this is a really good solid Mobile Suit Gundam series. You don't have to be a fan of Mobile Suit Gundam to enjoy it. It's actually pretty good. Highly recommend you guys check it out. Monster, the complete omnibus series, volumes 1 through 9 by Naoki Urasawa. This is my favorite Naoki Urasawa, and I think this is better than 20th and 21st Century Boys. Monster Musume volumes 1 through 13, probably my biggest guilty pleasure of all time. I don't care. I like it. I enjoy it for what it is. It's fun to read, so sue me. Volumes 1 through 8 of Murcielago, a crazy action Yuri bloody series. Volumes 1 through 16 of My Hero Academia, really great shonen series, and I'm not a fan of where it currently is right now, but I mean, hopefully it picks up. Asuka of the Valley of the Wind. This is the manga. This is the manga adaptation of the movie, or I'm not sure if this is the original source material, if the film is. Neon Genesis Evangelion volumes 1 through 13, the complete series. This is the manga adaptation of the critically acclaimed anime series. So, interesting thing is, Netflix actually picked up the anime streaming rights worldwide, and I don't know how much money they spent on that, but I'm sure it's got to be up in the billions, because Neon Genesis Evangelion has not been available legally to watch for almost a decade, so it's pretty crazy that Netflix finally picked it up, which I was hoping Crunchyroll did, but you know, I'm not surprised, since you know, this is probably way too expensive to afford for them. No Longer Human Volumes 1 through 3, horribly out of print series. One of the most depressing and crazy things I've ever read. Noragami Volumes 1 through 19 up to date. So I recently got this in the mail, and I pre-ordered this last year in November, and it has taken that long for Kodansha to finally publish this, so it's pretty crazy that I finally got this one. Oh My Goddess Volumes 1 through 48, complete series, a very fun old school series that I enjoyed when I was much younger. Volumes 1 through 88 of One Piece. Yep, I still like One Piece. One Piece is still my favorite of the quote-unquote big three, and I am not sure when this series is going to end, so we'll just have to see. One Punch Man Volumes 1 through 14. There you go. I enjoyed it when I first started reading it, but it just kept on getting repetitive with the jokes. So I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just not as funny as I thought it once was. Pikachu Volumes 1 through 3, a very interesting out of print manga that is written and illustrated by an American mangaka named Felipe Smith. If you guys can get your hands on this, highly recommend you guys check it out. It's actually pretty interesting, very funny, crazy. Phoenix Volumes 1 through 12, the complete series. This is probably the rarest and my most prized possession in my manga collection. I don't think I will ever sell this because this is a timeless classic to have, and apparently this is running for about $2,000 online, so I'm a very proud owner of this, and this is my favorite Osamu Tezuka manga of all time. I do like this way more than Astro Boy. Planet Volumes 1 through 2, this complete short story done by Makoto Yukimura. Platinum End Volumes 1 through 7 up to date. It's kind of like the same deal as Seventh Garden. The artwork is amazing, however the story is a little but we'll see where it goes from there. Pluto Volumes 1 through 8, the complete series, another great manga done by Naoki Urasawa. This is a reimagining of Astro Boy done by Naoki Urasawa. Volumes 1 through 11 in this omnibus edition for Prison School. One of the funniest things I've ever read. The Promised Neverland Volumes 1 through 7 up to date. Volume 6 is somewhere. I'm just missing it somewhere. Anyways, there's an anime adaptation that's about to air next season, and I'm so glad that Aniplex is streaming this on Crunchyroll. So this is a Noitamina show, and Noitamina has been held hostage by Amazon for 3 years, and I think that means that their exclusivity deal with Noitamina is finally over, which means Crunchyroll can start picking up shows that air on Noitamina. So thank God Amazon is no longer having exclusive rights to those shows. Rakia Volumes 1 through 5. Rosario and Vampire Volumes 1 through 10 of the first series, and Volumes 1 through 14 of the second series. This is surprisingly a pretty decent battle shonen series that started out as an ecchi harem series. Scum's Wish Volumes 1 through 8. Shaman Warrior Volumes 1 through 9. This is an out-of-print Korean manhwa. A Silent Voice Volumes 1 through 7. One of the best mangas I've ever read, period. Highly recommend you guys to get this series. Up next we have Slam Dunk. Before we do that, say hello to Horikita Suzune. Slam Dunk Volumes 1 through 31, the complete series. This is my favorite sports manga of all time, and it is illustrated and written by the legendary Takehiko Inoue, who is probably the best illustrator in the industry. Spice and Wool Volumes 1 through 16. Spirit Circle Volumes 1 through 5. The 6th volume is the final volume. This is a manga series written by Satoshi Mitsukami, who is an amazing story writer. He also wrote the story of Planet With, which was an anime that recently aired back in summer 2018. Highly recommend you guys to check it out and hop on this. Solanin, which is a short story done by Ineo Asano. Tales of Wedding Ring Volumes 1 through 4, a guilty pleasure ecchi harem series that I enjoy reading. Tenjo Tenge Volumes 1 through 11 in this complete 2-in-1 full contact edition. This was a series that was originally censored by a publisher named CMX, and Viz Media rescued it and re-released it completely uncensored, so good for them. There's a Demon Lord on the Floor, volumes 1 through 6, another guilty pleasure of mine that I enjoy. To Your Eternity, volumes 1 through 7, one of the most amazing new mangas that I've read so far. Trigun, the original Trigun volumes 1 and 2, and then Trigun Maximum volumes 1 through 14. This is a great classic that I have in my possession. The single volume is out of print, but you can still get the ugly 3-in-1 omnibuses put out by Dark Horse. Trinity 7 volumes 1 through 15. This is yet another guilty pleasure of mine. It's a fun ecchi harem series that is enjoyable for me. Ubel Blot volumes 0 through 10. I think this series is starting to get close to its end, but this is a somewhat Berserk-esque manga, but obviously not as great, but still fun for me. Volumes 1 through 13 of Until Death Do Us Part. This is a very underrated manga series, and I still do not see a lot of people have this in their collection. I highly recommend you guys to check it out. This is a very great seinen crime thriller series that, you know, really puts you on the edge of your seat. I mean, trust me, this is a really good series. Go ahead and check it out. Uzumaki, if you are a fan of H.P. Lovecraft or Lovecraftian cosmic horror, you should definitely get this. This is the only Junji Ito manga I have. Vagabond, volumes 1 through 37, which is up to date, and this is on indefinite hiatus, unfortunately. So I don't know when Takehiko Inoue is going to start running chapters again. So it's going to take a miracle for him to do that. Vinland Saga, volumes 1 through 10, which is up to date, and I'm glad that Kodansha is still putting this out, because this was almost canned by Kodansha. And there's an anime adaptation coming up, which unfortunately is picked up by Amazon, so that kind of blows. Wandering Island, volumes 1. This is what I thought to be a one-shot, but there's a second volume coming out pretty soon. Welcome to the Ballroom, volumes 1 through 9. Unfortunately, this is on indefinite hiatus, but this is a pretty interesting dancing or ballroom dancing manga series that I thought I was not going to like. We Never Learn, volume 1. This is a new Shonen Jump series, and this is actually apparently this is like one of the top currently running Shonen Jump manga over there in Japan. And I've heard a lot of good things about it. I haven't read it yet, but I do like the character design. It's pretty interesting. Welcome to the Ballroom, volumes 1 through 8, complete edition. I had to shell out a couple extra dollars for volume 8, but I'm glad that I have this series, because this is actually a really good series. Yona of the Dawn, volumes 1 through 15, up to date. My one and only favorite shoujo manga, which I don't really shoujo much. And finally, we have Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs, volumes 1 through 4. This is another fun guilty pleasure of mine, which I do enjoy reading. Might as well go through my anime collection as well. So we got Princess Mononoke. This is my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. Mary and the Witch's Flower. This is a Studio Ghibli-esque movie, which was pretty amazing as well. Mob Psycho 100, the first season. The second season is coming up next season, so I'm looking forward to that. This is a great show that is put out, that is done by Studio Bones, and the animation is absolutely phenomenal. One Punch Man, Full Metal Panic. That's Full Metal Panic, the first season. Full Metal Panic, the second raid. This is where things got really serious, which kind of surprised me when I first saw it. ReZero, unfortunately, Funimation really dropped the ball on releasing this. It's crappy quality. It wasn't really done well, so I don't know. I don't know if Funimation is going to reprint this in a better quality, but I seriously doubt it. Kara no Kyokai, the complete series. This is a series that I'm proud to own. I missed out on getting it when Aniplex first put it out on the market back in 2014. They decided to reprint this. Unfortunately, it's a sub-only release, so for those of you who are dub lovers, I mean, Aniplex hasn't produced a dub for this yet. Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel, Presage Flower. This is an amazing movie put out by Ufotable Table and Aniplex. In fact, this is probably my favorite Fate anime adaptation of all time. Way better than Fate Zero, which is my favorite. Fate Zero, the complete series in these high quality premium edition, which I did find a crazy good deal for. We've got the 7 Deadly Sins complete series, Shimoneta, the complete series, Yu Yu Hakusho, the complete series, Samurai Champloo, the complete series, Psycho Pass, the complete series, Steins Gate, the complete series, Mobile Suit Gundam, December Sky, which is the first part of the movie series. We have Hachiko and Michin, which is a great manga series, excuse me, great anime series that was directed by Saya Yamamoto. Bento, fun little guilty pleasure of mine. Prison School, Monster Musume, of course, another guilty pleasure of mine, and Fusei. Alright, that's all I have for the video. If you guys made it to the end, I do appreciate it. And for those of you who have been waiting for a manga video, I'm sorry. I will put out videos again. I'll start doing monthly hauls. And that's all I have for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a Merry Christmas and stay safe out there. Thanks. Take care.